go. Engines are being started. What we've all been here for the last few days. The National Junior Sedan Final is forming up. Hope you've enjoyed all the coverage we brought you on the super screen as well. Brooke up in the scissor lift, and Tony, I think he was 6 feet tall when he started. He's only 4.5 feet now. He's been from one end of the track to the other and all points in between. Forming up 4 wide. Into the main straight they'll come. Put your hands together for them, ladies and gentlemen. Say, come on past the 20 finalists in the national title. So come back into the main straight yet again. Stand by for a start. The main event, the National Junior Sedan Final, is all about set to go. Away and racing. Perfect dispatch down into turn number 1. Jack Ramsdale, Eric Wallace. Here comes Casey O'Connell. Blake Iowa now they're safely through 1 and 2 the first time. The Thorns running 5th and 6th, Heath and Nathan. They're going to be 4 wide at a turn number 4. And it's Ramsdale, Iowa now on the outside, Eric Wallace. Wallace, Ramsdale and Iowa now on the inside. One of the Thorns has moved into 4th place, that's Nathan. Casey O'Connell on the outside, and Heath Thorn is there as well. They move into 3 rows and 2 out in front. It's Ramsdale just in front. On the inside, Iowa now. On the outside comes Nathan Thorn, gets in between he and Eric Wallace. Eric Wallace goes the outside of Ramsdale, and on the inside goes Nathan Thorn and hits the front. Ramsdale's been squeezed back to 3rd place. Eric Wallace in 2nd. They're 3 wide behind them. Blake Iowa now on the outside. In the middle it's Casey O'Connell, and on the inside it's Heath Thorn. That's the first 6. After that we've got Mitch Glenn and Arnie Johnic. Then we've got George Park in 9th place. But what an absolute spectacle. 4 wide for 3rd place. Oh, they're squeezed up. They sort themselves out. There's cars going left, right and centre, but they're okay now as they move out of 3 and 4. Another lap put together. Out in front, it's Nathan Thorn. Oh, trouble. Eric Wallace and Blake Iowa have hit the fence here in the main straight. They continue on the inside of them went Mitch Glenn, but the race continues. Back then to Heath Thorn and Jack Ramsdale. He's gone back to 6th place now as Ramsdale. O'Connell's in the lead, back in 7th, and on the outside George Park. But our race leader is Nathan Thorn, who skipped away. He's out by 1.15 seconds as they move down the back straight. Back to Eric Wallace in 2nd place, and in 3rd place at this stage is Blake Iowa now. Mitch Glenn in 4th place, and then Jack Ramsdale. 3 wide for 3rd place. Behind them is Heath Thorn, and on the inside of them is the 48 at Casey O'Connell, George Park, and then on the inside of them is Arnie Johnic. Further back after that we've got Ryan Harris, Todd Atkinson, Todd Mull. Braith Hogan is next, along with Jack Dalton and Brad Gardner. But our race has been run at a cracking pace. They come up to complete lap number 7. Nathan Thorn out in front. Wallace in second. Iwanow. Glenn is fourth. Behind them is Ramsdale. Underneath of Ramsdale comes Heath Thorn. Casey O'Connell's there. He's on the outside. They're nearly 4 wide with Thorn Johnic. Nathan Thorn leads. Back in second it's Wallace, Iwanow, Glenn, Heath Thorn, Johnic and Ramsdale. O'Connell, George Park, they're still running 3 wide. After George Park is Todd Atkins, Todd Moore, Braith Hogan, Jack Dalton. Our race leader though is Nathan Thorn. Wallace in second, Glenn and Iwanow. Heath Thorn, Ramsdale, O'Connell, George Park. Out of turn 2 they go yet again. Glenn back to third. Around the outside, Iwanow back in third place. Running away with it is Nathan Thorn. 10 down and 15 to go. The South Australian is a runaway leader in the national final. Second place is Eric Wallace. Blake Iwanow is third, Mitch Glenn fourth. A South Australian leads. We have a yellow. Second and third have crashed. Eric Wallace and Blake Iwanow in turn 2. I was about to say we've got a South Australian, a Queenslander, a West Australian, a Victorian, 4 different states in the top 4 spots. And now Eric Wallace and Blake Iwanow have crashed on lap number 10. Todd Atkins on the infield as well in Victoria 31. He was in 11th place. Set for a restart. 15 laps to go. Racing. Nathan Thorn leads them down the main straight from Mitch Glenn. Where are the challengers going to come from? The first is from Jack Ramsdale on the outside of Casey O'Connell. George Park is down low in the track. And also there is the 0 of Heath Thorn as they move out at turn 3 and 4. Casey O'Connell comes underneath and moves into second place in the national final. On the outside is Mitch Glenn. And then we've got Ramsdale in fourth. George Park is under pressure from the second of the Thorn cars. Ryan Harris is there, and there's another one making a big charge right round the outside. I think it could be Todd Bull as they move down into turn 3 and 4. Our race leader is Nathan Thorn, high on the racetrack. Moving into second place is Mitch Glenn. Back in third place as the yellow lights have come on. It is Gardner at the back of the field has put on the yellows. And we'll have our second stoppage. 14 laps to go in the national final. Nathan Thorn continues to lead. Racing back underway, and back comes O'Connell. Glenn in third place. Ramsdale comes to the outside. George Park in 5th place from WA. As here comes Ramsdale back underneath of Mitch Glenn, moves into third place. Back then to George Park in 5th. There's a traffic jam behind him as they move into the main straight. Nathan Thorn just in front of Casey O'Connell. Back in third place, Ramsdale and Mitch Glenn. George Park has his hands full with a couple of cars. Ryan Harris, Thorn Johnic and Heath Thorn as they head down the back straight. Johnic makes it 3 wide as they come underneath of George Park. This may not end well as they come out of 3 and 4. They're 4 wide if you don't mind for 5th place. And there is trouble as Ryan Harris has hit the fence. Thorn Johnic has hit him, and there's a concertina effect. Jack Dalton has gone into Braith Hogan, who also hit the 68 car of Ryan Harris. It's all happened down here in turn number 1. Cautions breed cautions, and it's done so again. We did so many laps at the start of the race, and it's gone pear-shaped since. We've had 3 stoppages in quick succession, and there's a bit of damage done to a couple of these cars. They'll go to the inquiry bay for some work, I'd suspect. Racing again, Nathan Thorn leads at the halfway mark. It's half as way you can with a 25-lap race, 12 down to 13 to go. And Casey O'Connell comes underneath of Thorn as they head down the back straight. And don't discount the little 41 of Jack Ramsdale either. He went back to about 5th place. O'Connell trying to get Thorn off the curb. It's Nathan Thorn, O'Connell, Ramsdale, Mitch Glenn. Thorn Johnic has gone up to 5th place. George Park has gone back to 7th. Glenn fights on the outside of Ramsdale. It's Thorn just in front of O'Connell. Glenn in 3rd place. Ramsdale. Thorn Artie Johnic out on the extreme outside. George Park is there also with the 68 of Ryan Harris as they go down to turn one. A grandstand finish possibly coming up. There's 5 of them fighting for the lead. O'Connell looking to come underneath of Nathan Thorn. Mitch Glynn is going to go the outside. Artie Johnic's there in the blue 50. And Jack Ramsdale's there. 4 across the track as they come down the main straight. O'Connell still trying to get underneath of Thorn. That may not work. And Artie Johnic might be in front. He's gone right round the outside, and Artie Johnic has hit the lead with a big move on the outside. Thorn back to second. Glynn goes to the top side. O'Connell still trying the inside run. It hasn't worked. He's in third. Ramsdale. George Park comes back. George Park now goes underneath of Ramsdale. Glynn on the outside, but it's Artie Johnic now in front. Nathan Thorn in second place with 9 to go. As George Park spins, does a 360 and keeps the car mobile into the main straight. Artie Johnic by a car length over Nathan Thorn. Back in third place, it's O'Connell. Right there is Ramsdale as well. Back then to Mitch Glynn. All of a sudden it's a race in 2 as Ramsdale goes underneath of O'Connell. But it's Artie Johnic by a car length. Back in second place, it is Nathan Thorn. Thorn comes back underneath of Artie Johnic. We've got 7 laps to go. O'Connell and Ramsdale. Thorn back underneath of Artie Johnic. He's back in front. Johnic sneaks around the outside. Johnic back to the lead. O'Connell in third. Ramsdale fourth. And here comes Mitch Glynn into the main straight, still side by side. Thorn and Johnic. Johnic in front. Johnic back to the lead. Thorn in second. We've got 6 laps to go. Back in third place, it is O'Connell. Fourth place, it's Ramsdale. And back then to Mitch Glynn, Todd Mull and Ryan Harris. Underneath the super screen, 5 laps to go in the national final. It's a 2-horse race. Artie Johnic and Nathan Thorn. Queensland and South Australia. O'Connell, Ramsdale and Glynn. Thorn's back in front as they move out of turn 2. Johnic's back in front. Down into turn 3. Johnic and Thorn putting on a classic final. Thorn hits the front again into the main straight. Johnic sweeps back around the outside. We've got 4 laps to go. It's Artie Johnic and Nathan Thorn putting on an absolute classic. Out of turn number 2 they go. It's Johnic scooting away all of a sudden. What's Thorn got back for him? Back in third place, it's O'Connell, Ramsdale, and then Mitch Glynn. The rest can't win from there. The laps are ticking by. 3 to go. Thorn still out after Johnic. Johnic is the leader. Thorn in second place, then O'Connell in third. Ramsdale, Mitch Glynn, Mull is next, and then Braith Hogan. Underneath the super screen they'll come. There'll be 2 laps to go in the national final, and Artie Johnic has left the best till last. Leads by 4 car lengths on the 78 car in second place as they move down the back straight. Nathan Thorn, has he got anything for Johnic? The white flag to come out next lap around, and it'll be brought out by Rick Brown downstairs. There it is. There's 1 lap to go in the national final, and Artie Johnic leads. Down the back straight, they'll go for the final time, and third place is O'Connell. Back then to Ramsdale, Glynn and Mull, and it looks as though Artie Johnic from Queensland, the Junior Sedan Driver of the Year for Speedway Australia, is finally the national champion. Artie Johnic is first time in the national final. Second is Nathan Thorn. Third place will go the way to O'Connell. Fourth is a very close go. Ramsdale, Glynn and Mull. Back in 7th place after that, it is going to be Braith Hogan, Mason Cameron. Then Heath Thorn is next, Tyler Fraser, Jack Dalton and Brad Gardner, Ellie Peacock further back after that. And then Luke Malcolm rounds out the field. It wasn't 3 seconds the margin. It was a lot closer than that. Artie Johnic is the winner in a classic final. He downs Nathan Thorn in second place. Then Casey O'Connell and Jack Ramsdale in the national final. We'll have the on-track presentations very shortly for what has been a classic race with Artie Johnic leaving the best till last. He started out of position number 10 and has won the national final. On-track presentations shortly, and for those at home, we'll then wrap up soon after that. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for him, Johnic. We'll let Artie compose himself and get himself all ready for the presentations a little bit later on. We'll have a good word to you, mate. Well done. Before we do that, and while we wait for the trophies to arrive, we do have another presentation to do first of all. And this is for a junior driver from the Northern Territory who's been to 6 national titles and is retiring from racing after tonight, obviously for being too old. So we'd like to call up Lance Carew. If Lance, you could come up to the stage. And from Hasselt Automotive, your sponsor from Mum and Dad, congratulations on a great new career. Unfortunately, you didn't make the final tonight, but there's a collage of all your racing highlights from the last 7 years, mate.
Thank you. I would like to firstly say a big thanks to Mum and Dad for all the 8 years of effort. All the sponsors, Hasselt Automotive, City Tyre Service, GYB Motorsports, can't remember the rest. But yeah, and just all drivers and everyone over the past years. Thank you.
And what are you going to do now?
Don't know yet.
Well, as long as Sedans will continue to talk to you. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Lance Carew. And great handshake there from the CEO of Speedway Sedans Australia. Greg, wishing him all the best for the future. Just waiting on the trophies for the top 3. Oh, we've got them. They're here. Righto. Yep. 4th place we're calling up first of all, gets a sash. He won all 4 qualifying heats. He went right back through the field in a helter-skelter start, but he recovered and finishes 4th in the national final from Victoria in car number 41, Jack Ramsdale. Well, Jack, wasn't to be, unfortunately, mate. Helter-skelter start, but you did recover. You went a fair way back, but you got yourself back in the game towards the end.
Yeah, I was trying, just bloody Casey and Artie and one of the Thorn boys were just way too quick. I just couldn't on the track even.
A few people you'd like to thank?
Oh, just massive thanks to Mum and Dad and the mules and everyone that helps us out, all the sponsors on the car. Yeah.
There we are, ladies and gentlemen, in 4th place from Victoria, Jack Ramsdale. In 3rd place from Queensland, driving car number 48, Casey O'Connell. Casey, 3rd place in the national final. You had a lot of support at home and here at the racetrack. You had a very, very consistent weekend.
Yeah, that's right. That was a hard race. Couldn't thank Mum and Dad, Cody, Beck, Nan and Pop, both the Nan and Pops, all the sponsors, everyone that's helped get us here where we are now.
Well done.
Thank you.
There we are, Casey O'Connell, ladies and gentlemen, in 3rd place. In 2nd place, he led for quite a bit of it, and it was right in it at the end too. From South Australia, driving car number 78, Nathan Thorn. Well, Nathan, it's hard when you finish 2nd sometimes what to say, but you drove an awesome race to hit the front like you did and for lead as long as you did. Sometimes it's not easy to lead these races when you know there's so many quick cars behind you.
Yeah, I was spewing when Artie came outside. I didn't even know he was there, and then, yeah, spewing.
What about at the start of the race? You and your brother were side by side at the start. Were there any team orders, or did you talk about what was going to happen?
No, I was just a bit nervous, didn't want to take each other out, and then, yeah, there was kind of a gap in the centre and just took it.
and you led for the first 11 or 12, or right up the front, the first 11 or 12 laps, which went without a stoppage. Then we had a few, and then you continued to lead until Artie got you, and then you had to try and mow him down again.
Yeah, I just ran the bottom too long, and then he figured out it was there and got me.
And a few people you'd like to thank?
Yeah, definitely. Lofi from MJS, Ross Bowman, and everyone that helps out. Roger, Mum, Dad, Bruzy, Talia and her dad for flying up, Tori, and everyone else that helps out.
There we are, ladies and gentlemen, Nathan Thorn, our runner-up. And our winner. He's the current Northern Territory champion. He went back-to-back with the Victorian titles. He's won quite a few other titles around Australia. And finally, he's won the national title. Put your hands together for Thorn Johnic. Come in front of you, Artie. You started out at position number 10, which for you was a little bit low, but you had a few issues last night. But what were you thinking going into the race starting out at 10?
I was heartbroken going in at 10 because I didn't think I had a chance, but in the end, persistence and set up on the car, and we got there, so I'm really happy.
It was a chaotic race. There were so many cars early on fighting for the lead.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the other drivers because they're absolutely insane up the front. They're awesome drivers, and I'm glad to be able to race against them.
And then we had a couple of stoppages in the middle, which allowed you to keep up with Nathan, and then you swapped the lead a few times.
Yeah, the yellow lights came on, and I thought there's no use staying on the bottom with everybody else. I got to try and find a new line and try and be a bit different. So I had a look at the outside on the yellow lights and threw it up there and past everyone. I'm stoked on it.
I can tell that. Were you able to have a sneak peek at the super screen at any stage to see how far you're in front?
Every lap I was looking at that screen, waiting for to get past there. I'm so happy to be up here. I am so thankful to everyone who's helped me with the setup on the car because it was a bad all weekend. We couldn't get it going fast, and then talked to Casey Collins, and he gave us a few tips, and we threw that on the car, and we got there in the end. So thanks to everyone who helps me out. Couldn't do it without them, especially my granddad for getting me out here all the time. Big thanks to him because without him I wouldn't be racing and I wouldn't be up here. Australia won.
Is there any place he hasn't taken you? Any place you want to go that he hasn't taken you yet?
I haven't seen Italy or America yet, but I'm not complaining. Okay, I'm happy to be where I am, testing an F4 car, looking at a career in circuit racing. So I'm really happy to be here.
There we are, ladies and gentlemen, our new Australian champion, Thorn Johnic. Now we'll get the four boys up. We'll get the four boys up for the photos now. How about putting your hands together for the top four? Thorn Johnic, Nathan Thorn, Casey O'Connell, and also Jack Ramsdale. As we take the photos, we'll just bring Matt back in. Matt, been an awesome weekend, mate.
It's been absolutely fantastic, of course, the national title here. Great facilities here at 7-8 Northline Speedway. Couldn't pick better weather for the weekend. And what a fantastic group of people here that have travelled to Darwin to be part of it.
Great to be working with you this weekend. Awesome race meeting, and looking forward to the Formula 500s in a month's time.
Yeah, just 4 weeks to go now. Over 40 nominations already. I think they close off tomorrow, actually, the 1st of July. So going to be a massive event. Like you said, there's already the Aussie title champion coming, as well as plenty of other West Australian title holders and that. So it's going to be a huge Formula 500 here in 4 weeks.
Well, let you wrap up for the weekend. There's our podium for our top four.